Welcome to my November 6th creating photos and videos. Our neighbor recently asked me to shoot a whole lot of footage of an creative artistic experiment that she was doing in her house. The idea was that two artists would start painting on blank canvases in a style that they were used to painting in, whatever they wanted to paint. And they'd have 2 hours to finish what they had started. At the end of 2 hours, two more artists would come in, first 2 hours would leave, and they would complete or work on the paintings the original two artists had started. And before you click away, wait, this video really is about LumaFusion and the MyPassport drive, I promise. And during the first session, one of the artists used a blank canvas to just clean off her brushes. And then the other artist in that same first set drew some funny doodles on the canvas. Could this be a third painting? And yes, the two artists in the second session ended up completing that third canvas and creating three rather amazing paintings out of this experiment. The idea was that these paintings were going to be auctioned off at a fundraising event. So you may ask, Bill, what's this have to do with MyPassport and Gnarbox drives? So how this relates to creating photos and videos? Well, I had many video files from both my iPhone XS and my Olympus EM5 Mark II. I had the Olympus camera on a tripod at one end of the room, and I would move it around and just let it sit and run. And it was capturing everything that was going on, including me sometimes when I was in the frame. And so I copied all of these files based on which session they were recorded in on my MyPassport Pro wireless drive. I then created a LumaFusion project on my 10.5 iPad Pro, and I pulled in the files that I wanted to use to put together this video that my neighbor wanted. And as you may know, because of the recent integration between LumaFusion and the MyPassport Pro drive, as well as several other drives, this was fairly easy. I didn't have to load them into my camera roll. I could just bring them right into LumaFusion. And this was my first time really experimenting with a large number of files and using them in LumaFusion in this way. I've done this before, but this is the first time I've had so many clips that I needed to pull together to create a 2 to 3 minute video. Yes, they only wanted a short video to cover what took place over 4 to 5 hours. I decided to talk about this today because it's such a different experience from what I experience when I create these creating photo and videos episodes. It's the first time actually that I've ever recorded so much and been asked to distill it into a rather short video that could be shared with other people. Yes. I've recorded videos for events before to share with others, but this was different. I was being asked to record these paintings as they evolved, as the painters or the artists worked on them, and then create a snippet of that whole process, showing the evolution of and the creation of these three different paintings. Yes, Bill, all right, but what about LumaFusion and MyPassport Pro and Gnarbox drives? Okay, so besides the unique experience of recording this evolution of these paintings, I also got a better feel for using LumaFusion together with the MyPassport Pro Wi-Fi drive and just how that works. Now, understand, I have the Pro version of the Western Digital drive, not the SSD version, so it's slower. It's still a spinning disk. But the speed at which the files are transferred from the drive to my iPad is really a function of Wi-Fi speed, and that comes down to the Wi-Fi network that the drive itself creates. At first, I was really quite impressed at how the files showed up in my tray, and with thumbnails, and I could select them, and then I could start playing them. And it took a little bit for them to start up playing, and they'd play a little bit, and then they'd stop. And then I'd wait, and they play a little bit more and then stop. You know, the pause button was still visible, so it was still trying to play, but it was bringing the files in from the drive. So this lag time to just preview the files was really kind of frustrating to me. And so what I ended up starting to do is just going from file to file, the ones I was pretty sure I was going to want to use, and selecting a short clip, dragging it to the timeline, going to the next file, doing the same thing. And then LumaFusion would download those files to the app, so they would be available to me to edit. And then I go get something to drink and wait, because it took a little while. And I'd only do maybe three or four files at a time. And then I come back, and if they were finished, I'd select some more clips and do the same thing all over again. Now this is unlike the Gnarbox, where only a portion of the file that you select for that clip is actually transferred to your iPad. The rest of the file stays on the drive. So presumably the transfer time is going to be faster. I still question the previewing of these files. Is that going to be slow? So that's an unanswered question for me relative to the Gnarbox. This is not a big issue if you have a fair amount of space on your iPad. And I do. I mean, I have a reasonable amount of space with a 256 gigabyte storage space. But if you are limited to 32 gigabytes or even 64, then this becomes an issue. And the Gnarbox, albeit a little bit more expensive solution, is probably a really good solution, since it's only copying onto your iPad those clips that you're using, not the entire file. However, this experience had me start to think about the Gnarbox as maybe a better solution for me, even though I have a fair amount of space on my iPad. So I started watching videos on Gnarbox, and just recently watched a Twitch show interview with Tim, I think his name is Tim Fields, who's one of the co-founders of the Gnarbox company. They were talking about the upcoming 2.0 version of the drive, which is supposed to be available in December and January. And I got a little bit of a different perspective on it, and think, although I'm perfectly happy with my Western Digital MyPassport Pro drive to take, I'm definitely taking that on our upcoming trip. I was really kind of convinced, and after listening to this interview with Tim Fields, that the Gnarbox team really is dedicated to make it possible to do what most of us who want to edit video on the go want to do. And so I bit the bullet and went ahead, and although their Kickstarter campaign is closed, they do have an Indiegogo campaign as well, and you can still sign up for that. So I really bit the bullet and went for a 256 gigabyte Gnarbox, which won't be available until January. So that's what this video really is about. It is about the Western Digital MyPassport Pro drive is a great solution, particularly with the integration with LumaFusion and also Filmic Pro. And it is a lot cheaper for a lot more space. I mean, I have I think a 1 terabyte at least, it might be 2 terabytes drive, and it was far cheaper than the, I think I ended up paying $459 for 256 gigabyte Gnarbox 2.0 version. And that's an SSD drive, so it'll be faster in that respect as well. But it is something you might want to look into if you're in a similar kind of situation where you're trying not to use a computer. And I don't take a computer on vacations with me anymore, and the Gnarbox should maybe even improve it. And it's a real rugged drive too. So thank you very much for checking in on this, creating photos and videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.